meeting is going to be the EMS portion of it, and then we'll stop and ask questions for that, and then the Floresville Fire Department will do their presentation as well. My name is Mary Hernandez. I am with Wilson County EMS here in Floresville. I am one of their medics. I'm also their EMS director. Everyone was wondering, they're asking why we're doing this now and everything. So I'm going to have a little short, just a small talk to let y'all know a little bit about ourselves. We don't have to, I couldn't bring up the stuff I had because I didn't have the capabilities for me to look up so it's going to be just by word. At any time at the end of this presentation, if you have any questions, we're happy to answer. And if not, you can always come to my office or call. And we'd be really happy to sit down and talk with y'all. Any of the questions you might have. If you think of something later, by all means, please reach out to us. And you don't have to call 911. Darn it, I wanted to call. Anyway, so Wilson County EMS, the reason why we're doing this, I'm going to talk to you about why we're doing it, our current EMS coverage, our needs that we're needing, and the proposal why we're doing this. Wilson County EMS is also known as Wilson County Volunteer Ambulance Association, would be DBN or Wilson County EMS. So you'll see that on our trucks. We were founded back in 1973, and we are one of the first and the largest EMS agencies in Wilson County. We cover a lot of the area. We're a combination of volunteers and paid staff. I already have some paid staff. We have 3 ambulances, 2 that are MICU, meaning they're with paramedics. We have all the medications for cardiac, pain, and all that's needed. And then, of course, have a backup unit, and now I also now have a first responder unit, a command unit. Like I said, we cover 381 square miles of the county. So we go all the way from, of course, Floresville, all the way down to Karnes County line, that is south. We cover all the way down to Atascosa County line, which is west. And then east, we cover up to the Cibolo, I'm assuming, which, no, that is County Road, Proper Market Road 1922. Then it's Dogville, but District 3 picks up. And then we cover north of town up to County Road 320. So we cover a big area. We've done a lot this year. So far we're at 900 calls. And that means we have at least 800 plus transports out of the 900 calls that we get. We've had training. We train all the time. We just recently had what they call a pre-hospital life support training for our medics. We did a rescue task force, an active shooter task force training with San Antonio Fire Department. We had a cadaver lab earlier in the year that was for us, that was by the hospital. The Consulado Health Foundation set this up for us during EMS week. We are we have upcoming training, which is a PALS class, which is a pediatric life support, advanced life support. We've done many things throughout the year. We just did National Night Out with Floresville. We had Operation Cool, where they donated fans and we give them to the community that needs them. Of course, we're getting ready for the Peanut Festival. Never know what's going to happen those 3 days coming up, so we're prepared for that. We helped knock out hunger, meaning we went and helped make meals for the food banks in Wilson County, not just Floresville, but Polk and Lavernia have food banks. So we went and helped assist make meals. We made 20,000, right? It was 20,000 meals. So that was fun. We also helped with the Taco Trump Run, which we always help every year. We now, like I said, we now do have a command unit, and that was donated to us by our commissioners in our area. We are in contract right now with the Incarnate Word Medical School. They're going to be working with us on training, and which is pretty awesome because they're also letting us use their labs. They have these awesome labs that they have. And we've updated our medical protocols with expanded our medications also, and have a very good working relationship with our medical director as well. Our call volume has been going up, and it's getting busier. Of course, our city is getting bigger, and our call volume has gotten more. And just in the month of September, we had 129 calls. Doesn't mean we had all those transports, but we were called out for something, which is a lot. In June, we had 93, so it just kept going up. So yes, we've been very busy. Our sample calls that we have been cardiac calls, and when we have those calls, we have either CPR in progress, we have to have our cardiac drugs, IV therapy, whether it's either a needle or if it's an IO, meaning retrill. I hate to use that word, but that's what it's called. And everything that is associated with those calls, and of course major vehicle accidents, which we have to use backboard seat collars and all that, and all our trucks are equipped with that. Our current needs, the purpose for this is vehicles. To replace our vehicles. Our replacement vehicle, a brand new vehicle, is just the box. It's about $150,000. That's not including the supplies that's needed to have that truck that is mandated by the state. And of course, in your annual maintenance and the fuel. Our equipment, the cardiac monitors that we have to have. If our trucks are scheduled to be MICU, we have to have certain equipment in it. Not just the paramedic and the other medic, but our monitors have to be equipped a certain way. And those cost about $30,000 plus. Of course, our medications have gone up extremely high. For instance, our Narcan, meaning that's our use for opiates overdose. We used to buy the Narcan 3 or 4 years ago for like $16. Now it's almost $100 for one time use. And sometimes you need to use more than one on some people. And of course, in our staffing, I do have 2 paid staff. I have a paramedic, and the annual average, what they say, which is nothing for a paramedic, is $17.60 an hour, which comes out to $33,000 plus a year. And these are the people that are going to be saving lives. If you were to send some of my guys to go to paramedic school, the school itself is about $5,900. That's a lot. We encourage the education, but we're so tied up with monies right now that they're on their own if they want to acquire higher patches. If I were to send someone to do an EMT basic, that alone is about $1,000. And that's done including the books and the fees and everything else that's needed to go to class. Wilson County EMS has been involved in many incidents in the past few years. We had a tornado that hit Floresville back in 2015. That was a quick lesson on how to be quick on your feet. And of course, we had a near miss with Hurricane Harvey. And we were planning, we were meeting every hour on the hour, thinking the hurricane's going to come to us. And then it decided to be nice to us and took a turn and went to Houston, which I felt bad for it, but we were already preparing ourselves for Hurricane Harvey, and then it decided to go elsewhere. And then, of course, we all remember the Southern Springs incident. We were a big part of that as well. And now we're just waiting. So it's no longer when, it's where it's going to happen next. So we have to prepare ourselves for that as well. So that's why our training is so important, to keep up with that. The reason why we went this route to propose for an ESD, this is going to be something that the community has a lot of say in it, not just because it's the voters, but when they meet, when the commissioners sit a board, you guys could attend that meeting, you guys have a say-so. So not just because you voted yes to it, when these meetings are happening, you guys could go up there and have, why is EMS doing this, or why is EMS doing that? Why, you have all these questions that those commissioners, that we have no say-so on who sits on that board. The county commissioners choose those commissioners. So if anybody's interested in that, contact your local commissioner in your area. It's 10 cents per 100 in your property valuation. The standard home in this county is just like it was $170,000. That's the median of it. Household value for this county. That's $170 for a year in taxes, which comes out to $14.20 a month. Look at it. But it provides consistent funding for EMS, for us to purchase the new vehicles, to buy the life-saving equipment that we need, and for, of course, most important, our staffing. Volunteers are not what they used to be anymore. The EMS, we're the last EMS in this county to be working with volunteers. It's getting harder. 10 years ago, I didn't have an issue. 10 years later, here we are, and it's getting harder. And these the volunteers I have full-time jobs as well. They too have to support their families. The time that they have, spare time they come and volunteer for us. Yes, we do offer a stipend, but it's nowhere nearly what their payroll is at their full-time jobs positions. The benefits that we need, or the benefits to our residents, is newer, advanced life-saving equipment, additional EMS staff. We are a good system now. We want to be better. For major incidents, and of course, as I said, our call volume has increased. Replacement of our aging vehicles, improve our EMS response times. Right now they're good. We want to get better at it. And continue with our high-quality, community-based EMS for you, your family, and of course for your neighbors as well. This is, like I said, the first of our town hall meetings. We'll have others. Then the one next week is going to be in Cañaveral, the fire department, which is off of what was it?
1303.
Yeah, 1303. And then of course, then we have that one. Then we have on the 22nd, we have it in Poth. Since EMS covers Poth, we'll have a town hall meeting there at the city hall. And then our last one will be in Floresville at the city hall in Floresville as well. So if any time you guys could attend any of those, all of them, this one, or just contact us in our office. If y'all have any questions that y'all think of, that y'all think of tonight, either contact us then or go to the next meeting. I have a great group of volunteers and paid staff. And we hated to go this route. We really didn't have a choice. Things are getting so expensive. We do get help funding, small funding from the city, small funding from the county, and a smaller funding from the city of Poth that we rely on. It's the county supplies us with $31,500 a year for EMS. The city of Floresville fund us $31,500 a year, and the city of Poth gives us $5,000. And the rest we rely on billing. And we've noticed a trend lately is that there's a lot of people in this area that don't have insurance. We cannot treat them any different. They were going to get treated like they're billionaires, and they're going to pay every single penny for that call. We do not ask beforehand whether you have if you have insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, or whatever. We do not ask. We cannot ask. When you call 911 and we get dispatched out, our dispatchers can't even ask that. They're going to send us out there. We don't know until we're filling out our paperwork to do our billing that we find out, oh, they don't have any insurance. We can't ask. We're not going to treat you any different because you don't. So let's say a regular call, let's say it's a cardiac call we've had recently, from getting dispatched, getting there, CPR's in progress, using the cardiac drugs. I have a paramedic board, of course, that's why the cardiac drugs were used. And everything else that's needed, it's about $2,500, give or take. And their Medicare, maybe $800 comes back to us. And then, of course, they have deductibles. Also, those people that do have private insurance and have deductibles, sometimes they choose a deductible that's so high that because it's cheaper for them to carry the insurance that they need, that when let's say they use EMS and they have a $5,000 deductible and they haven't met that deductible yet, so the bill falls on them. And they're like, what are we going to do? We do have a collection agency, but they're not as aggressive because we understand everybody. We don't say don't send out the letters. We do send out letters for them, but some people just don't care. They're like, oh, I don't care, and I'm not gonna pay, and we just have to eat it, and we just have to do write-offs. This year alone, we're gonna have a little over $100,000 in write-offs that they're not getting paid. We're just not getting paid, and we can't. no pun intended, we can't take blood out of the turnips. You're mess up saying this. So we can't do that. So we have, this was like our last resort, was to do that. Like I said, we're the last ones in this county to even consider becoming an ESD. 10 years ago, it wasn't even in our radar. Now, we got this. No problem, we got this. But it's come to this, because everything has gotten so expensive. And I was just trying to stay afloat. Everything goes up, but our funding from the county, from the cities, didn't. So in the last 10 years, it stayed at that amount. So it's getting harder. And we really, really want your support in this, and I hope that you do consider voting yes for our ESD 4. Do you have any questions? Yes?
You gave us a dollar figure for about $100,000, which you end up not being able to get reimbursed for. Any idea what that is percentage-wise? And is that like half of what?
It just every year it varies. Last year our write-offs were like every year it's almost I could say almost 100,000 of a write-off, meaning people are. Another thing that's really hard is, let's say you have an accident, and I'm going to use State Farm as an example. You have State Farm, and they're gonna pay. State Farm's going to send you $80,000, sir. It's up to you to pay your bills. Well, someone that doesn't have $80,000 and all of a sudden has $80,000, you think they're going to worry about their EMS bill that's $1,800? I have some that do take into consideration and do pay their bills, but then we can't go out to our billing company. We outsource our billing. They can't go after the billing company, out of the insurance company, because, oh, we paid John Doe, we paid him $80,000, and he didn't take care of his EMS bill. It's on John Doe. We did our part. Not all EMS agencies, not all insurance companies do that, but a lot. They send you one big lump sum at the settlement that they had, and now it's up to you to go pay your bills. Which, like, I wish everybody did like others, where they do pay the bills and then they send whatever's left over to that person. So yeah, it's just our area. It's just everybody thought, oh, Obamacare this and Obamacare that. It really didn't make a change for us at all, because they were choosing those insurances at high deductibles just so they could stay without getting penalized, just to stay current with the system. So yeah, it gets hard. It's getting hard.
It's getting bigger.
Yeah, the area's getting bigger. There's subdivisions that are going up. There's people building and stuff like that. The city, which didn't hurt us any because it annexed, but you know, there's proposals for other subdivisions going up and stuff, and this is getting crazier and busier. Yes, ma'am.
This passes and you get all this revenue. Do you think the cities are still going to fund you?
No.
Like, that's all going to go away?
That stops. They already told us that once this passes, and of course, it passes November 5th, so tax bills already went out. So taxes won't be sent out again until October the following year, and then you wait. So you're looking at almost like an 18-month to a year increment before we even see any tax money. I have asked questions from the other EMS agencies that are already ESDs, and they say, oh yeah, it takes a while before you start seeing the revenue come in. So we have to wait on that, on it. But the cities and the county won't cease that until that funding starts coming in.
But both the city and the county have notified you that they're going to cease funding you?
The city of Floresville has already told us that.
Okay.
Yeah. And the county would follow as well. I mean, every area in the county is going to be in ASD, so they figure the taxpayer's going to take care of it. So that's, they could use, and I was like, hey, y'all still want to give us the money, well, we're going to take it. I mean, but they're not. In the city of Poth, I mean, they have, like I said, they funded us $5,000 to cover the city of Poth, and they get the same coverage as everyone else.
So that's two rides, the equivalent for a whole year.
Yeah.
For the whole city.
Yes. Our call volume in that area is not extremely high. Everybody's always asking, you know, where's the most call volume? Of course, the city of Floresville. We have 3 nursing homes there. Yes, they have a private service that services the nursing homes, but when they're busy, we get that. So yeah, so I mean, it's getting, you know, like I said, comparing 10 years ago, and that's kind of far back to now, a lot has changed, a lot. It's like unbelievable. And people that we've talked to are like, what, y'all still volunteers? What is that? Thank you, exactly what I'm trying to figure out. But like I said, I'm pretty proud of the volunteers I have now. They've been really good and continue being available for us and stuff, so I can't knock it down. It's just we don't have, if I had 20 of them, and I have payroll, even better. Sorry, I said that too. Any other questions? We'll hand it over to the fire department. No, that's right.
Accountant here.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 cents is our number right now.
Yes.
Okay, is there any lock-in for any number of years, or is it gonna go
No.
up every year?
No, it cannot go higher than that.
Okay.
That's the max. Now, everybody wants to say start at the top with a 10, and then as soon as you get what you need, and then gradually it might come down. That's why I say might, because I don't know what it is, but it cannot go higher than 10.
Because it's people's money, and when you talk taxes,
Oh, of course.
school tax is gouging everybody right now.
I know.
I heard it's going up again.
Well, I live in the city of Post, so I just got knocked with that.
It's because they pay their teachers so much.
But that's not why.
I know it's not. I was there 27 years.
Yeah, I know, I would go down, never go down.
So yes, so
that was
just to answer your question, ma'am, the 10 states it cannot go any higher than that. If that goes, I have to call for a rollback, and we're not gonna even go there.
No, that is for EMS, and then we could do another 10 for fire, correct?
Correct.
So that's for the two different ones.
Right.
That's it.
Yes. I thank y'all so much for coming in tonight. Again, if there's any questions, I could iterate that again. If there's any questions you guys might have, contact us, go to the next meetings, or stop by the office. You want to see what our office or our stations look like, by all means, come by and look around and see what we have. We do have a station cat. She's our therapy cat. So the guys sometimes don't call her that, but she is our therapy cat. Any other questions before I hand it over to the fire? Anything? All right, thank you all again so much.
Good evening. My name's Lorenzo Ortiz. I'm currently the chief of the Florida Fire Department. A few of our members here, the treasurer, Raymond Randon, one of our members, Richard Dimmer, another members, Matt, assistant chief, Meg Taylor. Again, the same thing with, like Mary was saying, we've come here to request that, what do you call, or ask for your vote for, we're gonna be ESD 5. ESD 5, when you look at that sheet we gave you, we currently cover 260 square miles. We cover everything from 1922 back to Canada Road to 224, 225, back west to, which is 2505, and back across south or north to the county line. And west, which is Eagle Creek covers this northern part of the county. Again, we've been, the Florida Fire Department's been around for over 100 years. So we've been around for a long time. We've always been volunteer. Again, staffing wise is what we call volunteers are hard to find, like Mary said. And the ones that do have a lot of heart. And they do a great job. And not only that, but same thing like Mary's saying, they also go through the training that we have in-house. That we provide, and has to be up to, what do you call it, the Texas, I'm going to go off here. Texas Commission. Yes, Texas Commission on, I'm not sure where it's at. This is Firemen's and Fire, what is it, Fire Association, let's see, or something. Anyways, we have guidelines that we've got to go through. So to start with, we have currently 14 emergency vehicles, which are, we have 3 engines and some smaller vehicles we use for rural fires, brush fires, and stuff like that. We maintain also. Our area includes the city of Floresville, and we do maintain 2 stations, which is Daniel Verde, which is off of 1303, and the Floresville station. One of the goals, short term, 1 to 2 years, we try to get all the equipment up to certification to the National Fire Protection Agency, and FDA. That includes the trucks, personal protective equipment, hoses, nozzles, air compressor, self-contained breathing apparatuses, and the state fire marshal associate qualified as many volunteers as we can under the state fire and fire marshal association. We do not offer a stipend at this time like EMS does, because of the fact that it kind of runs into a little money. Yeah. So that runs into a little money. As you can see, the stipend total would be at about $15,000 per year. That would be, actually you couldn't go over that because according to tax. The tax law. So.
That's per person.
Yes, per person.
Per person, yes.
That's not per clerk.
Our midterm goals, 3 to 5 years, transition our volunteer to full paid department, get current fire station up to code, for sleeping quarters, training room, ventilation, qualified firefighters, qualified firefighter, Texas Commission on fire protection, TCFP, full-time paid. 2, personnel for Monday through Friday, 12-hour shifts. It all depends on how you want to split those shifts over. She's supported by volunteers also. There's quite a few departments that are paid and are volunteer also. They would provide the support outside the normal paid personnel. It depends on Monday through Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. The volunteers would fill in on the fires, any type of rescue. Let me see here. Okay, long-term goals: 6 to 10 years. Qualified firefighters can see TCFP, full-time paid. Minimum 2 personnel for 24/7 coverage beginning. Okay, the other coverage begin Bentwood substation construction. We were approached. About 10 years ago, I think, maybe. We do have a spot to build another station here in Bentwood, right next to the water plant.
Right.
Or actually, right there.
Right next door.
Right next door.
Right next door.
There's 2 acres, I think.
Part of that.
We didn't build it back then because the funding wasn't available. It cost a little money, and some of the criteria that the state requires, they have ventilation, and that gets into some money also. And I think we were supposed to build a 2-bay at the time, 1 for fire, 1 for EMS. But that would have to be put on hold for them. Operations, provide services, fire and rescue services, assist Wilson County EMS with lifting patients for safe transport, assist in air life, establishing a safe landing zone, and firemen continuing education, training services, and for the community also. We provide, is it fire? We go to daycares, and usually it's Maggie and someone else, or myself and someone else. We take the fire truck up there, we take the booklets, we talk to the kids, we teach them, what is it, stop, drop, and roll, stuff like that. So,
Still teach that?
yeah.
Work's still changing.
I know exactly, I'm impressed though.
Okay, the board of directors, again, Mary mentioned this too. The county commissioners will appoint 5 community members, non-paid, for the ESD number 5 coverage area. It'll be the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and assistant treasurer. Advisory board will be, all will be ESD 5 employees, which would be the chief, first assistant, second assistant, captain, lieutenants, firefighters. Well, DCFP and SFFMA, which is the state that we're also part of this organization, full-time and volunteers. Funds historically combine a combination of city, county, and self-funding efforts, approximately $90,000 a year. These have allowed the department to barely exist. We get funding from the city of Floresville, which is $63,000. The county would get, what, $25,000? And then we have our annual game logging due, from 20 to 30,000 approximately, depending on how it went. That's our funding, and then from there we maintain our vehicles, fuel, pay whatever to maintain the building also, because that's part of our contract with the city. Just to let you know, we just finished paying off our 3,000 gallon tanker. This past year.
This last year,
Yeah. We finished paying it off early, 5 years, I think. We're able to do that, take a lump sum, just go ahead and pay it off and get it out of the way. And that vehicle has been used a lot. We provide.
about every call we go on.
That tanker's always going. We provide what do you call support or mutual aid to ESD2, which they also provide mutual aid. We also do for District 1 and Stogdale sometimes, and Polk. So we all work together too, on stuff like this. But yes, since we received that or bought that truck, we've been using it since day 1 actually. So
A lot of the rural areas out here, although you have some fire hydrants, they're not necessarily as close as you would like to where you have to fight a fire. So that tanker gives us the ability to put more water right there where we need it. It's a huge help.
And then it's talking about getting an air compressor. We just ordered one, we're waiting on it. And that was about a $45,000 item that we needed. And that's to provide breathing air for air packs. And we got it financed through the bank. We paid some of it. Hopefully money we get, we'll pay some more of it. And hopefully we'll knock it out within, hopefully 5 years. So that's why we're looking at this, wanting, the constant, a little bit of money to come in, help us out with what we have. Proposed funding generated from this proposal approximately $650,000. These additional funds will allow growth in additional and state qualified personnel, equipment, and facilities. And again, the cost of taxpayers proposed maximum of 10 cents per 100 of property value. And I think if I'm correct, does that include agriculture?
Yes, when we went and found out the valuation of the ESD 5 area, that number 650,000 is based off of the total minus the agricultural valuation for the area. So based on best estimates, we're looking at about $650,000 a year coming in. The numbers that we have put together as far as budgeting, and I don't want to discourage you, but I would encourage you to get involved with trying to be a board of directors, because they're appointed by the commissioners. Go to those meetings. That's where you're going to find out what these budgets are and how your money is getting spent. So our proposals, as much as we push these to the board of directors and we're an advisory board to them, they make the ultimate decisions. With that being said, that $650,000 will go a long way for us. No, it won't go far enough to get us to that 10-year goal right off the bat, but what it does set us up for is a rolling savings account for, let's say if we had an emergency where a truck went down and we had to replace it. I mean, a brand new engine is $500,000 probably. Outfitting just one firefighter is anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000. So we hire a new employee and that's $40,000 right out of the bank account. So if we start and get a rolling savings account, it gives us some cushion to be able to grow the department and get everything up to speed and qualified for these state regulations.
You know, something that, I don't know if you remember or not, but something that we in this area will benefit from, when they get the fire station here in Bentwood, when this thing is built, you call your homeowner's insurance, whoever you have it with. I got a firehouse now a mile away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the reason we pay the high rates we do now is because we're over 6 miles.
Yep.
Once this station gets built, when I checked mine, and it was a long time ago, when we first started this 10, 12 years ago, trying to get this thing out here, my premiums would go down over $200 a year.
That's important.
So, and everybody gets that, okay? So the money that you're gonna be putting out in taxes,
You're gonna save on the other end.
you're gonna get it back on your insurance premium reduction.
That's a big seller, Gary.
It
Well, when
is.
you talk about people's money, you know, there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that are on such limited budgets. So the
Yes.
first thing you say is, your taxes are gonna go up 20 cents a hundred. And they're like, right now, there's people waiting to get their tax returns so they can pay their taxes this year. You know,
And
but
if you
that's
live
a
out
good
here
sell.
or in the rural, I said it's great. I live in the city of Floresville, I still got, the city of Floresville charging me taxes.
Oh, I
too,
know, they're pulling out.
so- And so that's stuck on top of everything, so.
Matt,
um,
let me explain the ISO rating also.
yeah.
I can't talk to the ISO rating as well as maybe somebody else, but I can tell you that, just like Gary said, you know, once we get that station out here, whatever your ISO rating is right now would go down, which means your house insurance would go down. You know, that covers this area, it would cover Shannon Ridge, it would cover most of the loop that goes back towards town, and probably some on 1303 and 536 area.
And on the north side, 320 back to us.
Yeah, because I think what I remember from when I was doing the check-in was they want you within 6 miles of the station. And especially if you go from volunteer to having full-time personnel there, that increases your rating too, right? Because now they know you're gonna have a much shorter response time.
Well, you've got upgraded equipment, people are trained to a higher
See?
level.
So your homeowner's insurance premiums are probably gonna go down even more than what I said, because all these other factors are gonna be kicking in.
There's a lot of factors in it.
Yeah.
District 1, when they first started over in Lavernia, over the 5 years, I think it is, they've dropped like $400 per household. Because their ISO rating has gotten that good from up, down.
See, so
They
you're
run
gonna
it
get
at
this back.
steady, at 4 even. So people are getting a lot of money back on their taxes. I live in Shannon Ridge, just in case anybody's wondering. I pay all these taxes too, so.
He's one of our volunteers.
But
Like Jackson.
I want to see it get dropped too. Plus the fire system, you know, is, like you were saying about the tanker, we're few and far between. We carry 1,000 foot of 5-inch on the engines. These hydrants are way longer than 1,000 feet. So having that tanker availability might be that extra bit of water that saves your home. And like I say, like you said, you call your insurance guy and say, hey, we got a new fire station a mile from my house. There's a plus for you right there. The ISO ratings drop as training goes up, equipment gets upgraded, it drops some more. And if you own businesses, that's a big plus. Or if you're involved in businesses like some of the people in here are, that helps you out quite a bit.
And ISO will come down to the station. With them to the station, gone through, so they can see all the equipment, so they do come on.
And everything's a point. You got an extra 100 feet of hose, that's an extra point versus that piece.
So if Mike's numbers are correct, and they're probably much more accurate than mine, because mine are admittedly dated, then that's probably gonna cover all the fire and the EMS tax difference. So you're gonna come out, at least the people within the 6 miles of this area where we're having this meeting right now, it's a zero-sum game for you.
It's a winner
For
because they
us.
got coverage.
Yeah. Well, you're right.
Our big goal here is to give the community the coverage that they deserve. Our volunteers, like they said, are few and far between. I can tell you when I came on the department 4 years ago, I did not think that I would be sitting here. Most of you probably know my father, may or may not know my grandfather, but it's been in my family for a long time. So I'd like to see you guys get what you deserve. You know, some of the things that you may not realize that the fire department does is every Friday night for the last 30-something years, we've been parking cars at the football games. You know, this weekend, most of us are going to be up probably at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, parking floats and telling people where to go to line up for the parade. In years past, these guys pretty much work 72 hours straight because they work the dance the Friday night, and then they work the dance Saturday night, putting up and taking down fence. If you don't remember that, I do when I was a little running around. But you know, it's just it's a hard thing to say, please vote yes, taking money out of your pocket, but it's for a good cause.
You have great goals. They're flexible, right?
They
So
are.
they pop in more subdivisions, your revenue goes up. I may not have to wait 6 years to get a fire station. How can we make it happen
Right.
faster?
And the thing is like we kind of set this up. We wanted to set these as realistic goals.
Okay.
We didn't want to say that in 3 years we're going to be able to drop down this tax, you know, and then be in a position where, let's say in 3 years we drop the tax down, and all of a sudden one of our engines get hit on a vehicle accident that we're helping EMS out, and now we have a $500,000 deficit in our savings account because we have to buy a new truck. So we're setting this up so that we get to the point where you guys have 24/7 coverage from at least Floresville, and then we can start to, you know, get your guys a station out here and start dropping that tax down, because I think that's the right thing to do. I don't think it's, and you gotta be in tune with your commissioners and your board of directors. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Not everybody's gonna get the offset that we're talking about here, because that's just because we live here.
Yeah.
But, you know, the whole area, you're 226 square miles, and, you know, and EMS is 300-something square miles. You're all gonna be getting improved capabilities and care. You
Keep
know,
in mind too, the trucks that we got, they're not brand new.
Oh, no.
We're running military trucks.
70s.
We've got Maggie's old fire truck is a 85-something model from the military service. The military trucks, it's the only one that's gonna go out in the sand. You don't buy them off the shelf. You gotta build them. And the fire trucks that we buy, they're, what is that engine one, a 78, 9?
80. Engine one is 85, I think.
And the newer one is, the double cab is
99.
99.
99. That's what we got.
But they are maintained.
Yes.
They are maintained. They have to be maintained in accordance to state and FPA.
I have a question in regards to the location of the original firehouse where you guys are currently at.
Yes.
Do you assume, you guys rent that or lease it, whatever, from the city, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Okay, do we assume that the city is still going to let you have it once you build, let's say, out here? I mean, I don't know. They seem to be yanking stuff away, like your money, the minute this
Yeah.
happens. Are they going to let your food
At this
down?
time,
At this time?
I say yes, at this time,
That's
at
scary.
this time I say yes. The fact is that, we're providing the service to the city also.
But yet, when you, if this passes, they're gonna yank your money though from you.
That part, yes, that they've been giving us, but we'll be getting, what do you call
Kind of in
it, the
an,
tax.
in an
I mean, I hope
ideal.
that they do, I'm saying that they should take it from you.
Yeah.
But I'm just,
No, I
are
understand.
they going to let you
that
guys
would-
keep, or are they gonna say, well, then get out here and build, and now you no longer have this?
No, because we should, the tax covers the city, right?
Yes.
So ideally, the ESD 5 would contract with the Floresville Volunteer Fire Department in the beginning until they have an established, I
Presence,
guess, presence department.
whatever that means.
It'd almost be like you'd have the ESD 5 department and the Floresville Volunteer Fire Department running together.
Now, wasn't there talk at the last meeting, which maybe I just didn't understand completely, the one that, the
Yeah,
commissioner
commissioners.
meeting that y'all saw me at, but I was confused everybody at. Wasn't there, okay, wait, now my train of thought's gone. Damn it, I hate when that happens. That's what happens when you get old.
It's okay, I'm just.
Okay, let's just go on to something else and we'll come
And
back.
then you'll remember it.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else have any other questions? Down at the bottom of the sheet, there's some phone numbers there, my phone number, Maggie's phone number, and Matt's phone number. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions now? Anybody? Anybody?
I'll ask the hard question you wish I never did. What happens if this doesn't work?
Well, I mean, we're gonna keep on going the way we are.
Stand in.
We'll keep on going the way we are.
What's been happening for the last couple of years is putting a band on.
They can do it for volunteers.
We're not gonna, yeah, we're not gonna stop.
No,
I mean, we, give this about 15 years ago, they did pull the plug at the station. They wanted to shut it down. I think they might have shut it down too. I've been with the department for 35 years. We had a few volunteers that were gonna take the equipment that the department had bought home, because at that time, the city manager didn't want to cooperate, didn't want to help us out. So, we had decided to take the equipment, the little equipment we had, take it to one of the chief's houses and keep it there, but we would run from wherever it was to provide the service to this community. It's never been, the department has never been, including EMS, there to make money. We've been around long enough to help out the other agencies when they need help. I'm not gonna get into that, but, you know, we've done it before.
And if you were to value the amount of time that these people put in, volunteer time, you know, they put hundreds and hundreds of hours a month into the vehicle maintenance and going out on the fires and attending meetings and training sessions and stuff. These folks, they love their community.
to give you a great example, you know, we put on the wild game dinner every year, and it takes us about a year to get everything together. And there's probably, well, there's one family, I'll name the Burkids. They're probably half of our force that gets the wild game dinner done, and only their son is actually in the department. The rest of them are there out of the kindness of their heart to help us generate funds for the department, and it only accounts for 1/3 of our funding. So, you know, they're all kind of wondering what we do at the wild game dinner after this, but that's up for another discussion.
Okay, so I remember. So at the last meeting, there was talk of something about if this got done, that maybe the city could say that they, what was it, that they don't want you guys or bring in another group to do this job instead? That you got, do you remember this discussion?
It would be the board, actually.
Yeah, so the board of directors would contract with the Floresville Volunteer Fire Department. Now, let's say you guys didn't want to be a part of the board or know what was going on, you just knew you were going to get taxed. and you didn't want to be a part of it, well, the board could say, well, we're not gonna contract with the Floresville Volunteer Fire Department, and they could contract with another fire department. So, I don't know exactly how that works, but that's just a possibility.
I mean, does that mean that you might lose your job then?
I mean, I wouldn't lose my job because I'm a volunteer, but, and it doesn't necessarily, but it also doesn't necessarily mean that the Floresville Volunteer Fire Department is gonna go away.
Yeah.
The Floresville Volunteer Fire Department can still continue to operate and serve the community. And it could be just out in the county, and then they, you know, the city does whatever they have to do to get the city covered, vice versa. That's above my head. I'm sorry.
That is probably not something that would happen to you guys.
You never know, hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
You don't know what the board's
We're
going to
depending on the board. But most of the time, they've been, the boards that are there at this time have worked with.
They pretty well
you
keep
just-
whoever was already there.
I mean, it makes logical sense to keep, because you know, they are, you get the
Exactly.
We've already been
Duh.
doing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be very logical to not reach out to the volunteer fire department as the one that they
Kinda like
want to
Brenda.
Just bring in brand new
because
people who
we
know
have
the
the
area,
equipment
know the-
already there,
Right.
and we just have to get it updated. So,
Because if they did that, we don't have to get our equipment.
no.
Yeah, we don't have to
They
get our
can't
equipment.
afford it. Yeah, they would have to start from scratch.
Yeah. So that, 6-year goal of getting Bentwood station substation established probably looked like 60 to 20. Yeah.
Start buying lottery tickets.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out, definitely. If you didn't know, we do have a Facebook page, so you can ask questions through there and reach out,
I'm trying to do social media. Yeah. EMS does too. We have a
Yep.
social media page as well. Thank y'all so much for doing
Please,
that.
please, spread the word.
Vote yes.
We've got the early voting, the paper there if you want to do your early voting, which is
The 21st.
21st of October to the 1st of November, which would be over by the library. If you want to wait and do it on the 5th of November, then those are your sample ballots for the different areas. You look on your voter's card, and it tells you which boxes that you can vote at, and then that's a piece of paper there. It tells you, for us, we have 3 different areas that you can go vote, but it's according to your box. Mary has 4, her other one is Pope. She has a small area that has like 8 people or something in it, that's also Lavernia. That's where your 4th one is Lavernia. So I did up some paperwork for you so you can take that with you and everything. If you want to mail in your voting, you have to have it in by the 25th of October. It has to be stamped, postmarked before the 25th of October if you want to mail it in. So,
Appreciate you guys' support and vote yes on ESD 5 and 14.
thank y'all very much for coming.
Can I just out of curiosity, how many of us, I wouldn't say civilians, but from our community that came out, I'm just curious as to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are you guys with the department or just civilian?
I live on the other side.
But, okay, I'm just curious as to how many people we're reaching to, I mean,
Yes.
there's a ton of people out there, why are there only 10 of us
We
here?
appreciate if you share our town halls on your Facebook pages.
Yeah, or share this
Everything.
on your Facebook page or fact
Yeah,
sheet.
'cause I'm like, well,
We're
this
gonna
guy's
try to get it on
Get it
there.
on
I'm
there.
doing my best to get it.
Facebook, you